Chainsaw Man the movie Reze Arc and its theme songs have taken the world by storm. The movie is incredibly well received, and is personally one of the best anime films I have ever seen. It is also a massive box office success around the world, and its OP and ED, Iris Out and Jane Doe, made by Yonezu Kenshi, have dominated Japan's music charts. While Iris Out is on course to become one of the most popular Japanese songs ever, the song that sticks with the audience the most after watching the movie is, without a doubt, Jane Doe, the song that captured the sad, beautiful, tragic love between Denji and Reze. In this video, I'm going to talk about the story behind Jane Doe, how Yonezu Kenshi made the perfect ED for the Chainsaw Man movie, and break down the correlations between its lyrics and the Reze Arc. After the unprecedented success of Kickback from Chainsaw Man Season 1, where we saw the song become the biggest Japanese song ever internationally, and got a platinum certification in the US, it's only natural that the privilege of providing the theme songs for the Chainsaw Man movie would fall to Yonezu once again. So MAPPA reached out to him and this time asked for 2 songs, one to be played in the middle of the film, which ended up serving as its opening, and one for the ending, which materialized in the form of Jane Doe. Let's start by discussing the title. The term Jane Doe means nameless woman. It is often used in legal proceedings, law enforcement, hospitals, and occasionally as the title of horror films. It's a very fitting name for the song, as both Denji and the audience have no idea who this mysterious woman they're falling in love with is for most of the film. Another reason why Yonezu picked this title could be a callback to the Russian song Reze sang in the movie, Jane Stepped in the Church. There's one more theory that I read online, which is a bit of a stretch, but it has happened with some Japanese songs before, so you never know. If you read the term Jane Doe in Japanese English, it sounds something like Jiendo, which happens to sound somewhat similar to Jiendo, the end. Like I said, a bit of a stretch, but it does actually make sense given the context. For Yonezu, Jane Doe was always meant to be a more sad and melancholy song that functions as an extension to the movie. You have to listen to the ED to fully experience the story and the emotional journey the movie brings. So, the only question was, how do you make an ending theme that is not only a good song, but also part of the storytelling, like what Homura is for Mugen Train? One thing was clear for Yonezu from the beginning. This song had to be sung by a female singer. This is Reze's movie, and this is her song. After experimenting with different approaches, since Yonezu is a huge fan of Bjork and Tom York's performance of I've Seen It All from the 2000 film Dancer in the Dark, he eventually decided that Jane Doe would work best as a duet. Not even halfway through the songwriting process, Yonezu already has a clear notion of who is to sing the female part, and that is where Utada Hikaru comes in. There are only a few names in J-pop history that even the genius that is Yonezu Kenshi can't help but be in awe of when in their presence, and one of them is none other than Utada Hikaru. I won't spend too much time introducing her, that's for another video, but just to show you why she's considered one of, if not the most influential singer in Japanese history, here is one of her most mind-boggling achievements. Her debut album, First Love, which was released when she had just turned 16 back in 1999, became a cultural phenomenon across Asia, and is, to this day, still the best-selling album in Japanese history. Since Utada Hikaru claimed her legendary status at such a young age, when Yonezu Kenshi fell in love with her music as a teenager, she was still in her early 20s. And now, they're collaborating for the first time. The reason why Yonezu considers Utada Hikaru the only possible candidate for this song, besides her being one of his favorite singers, is her voice. According to him, she has a slightly husky voice that radiates a feeling of melancholy and loneliness, and the duality of the strong presence and airiness in her singing makes her the perfect singer to perform Reze's part. I have listened to quite a few covers of Jane Doe on YouTube by singers that I really like, but none of them ever come close to the original. But for this duet to work, Yonezu's part is equally important. In terms of both their performance and songwriting styles, Yonezu Kenshi and Utada Hikaru couldn't be more different, which Utada pointed out herself during their special talk.
私が一番感じた違いが、米津さんが軸をすごく感じる、揃う、マスをすごく揃えるみたいな感覚に近いふわりとかあって、私がまさにその逆でずらしていく人で、崩していく、ずらしていく、むしろ 軸を避けることで軸を意識してもらうみたいな。だからその真逆なんだって思って、それって逆にすごくないって思ったんです。真逆でデュエットできるってなかなかないんじゃないかなと思って。しかもお互い作曲者同士で。はい、だから、これってすごくレアな、すごい素敵なチャンスだって思って。
They didn't spend a lot of time discussing Jane Doe, but I still really recommend you watch that video on YouTube. It has English subtitles. And how often do you get to watch two of the best songwriters in J-pop just chatting? And to her point, the differences between their respective works and methods, which were combined in Jane Doe while still staying true to them both, make the song such a captivating listen. You can hear the influence of Utada's R&B roots from her laid-back and free-spirited performance that isn't confined by the music. And since Yonezu started out as a Vocaloid producer, which is a genre where planning and precision are huge parts of the song-making process, that influence is shown in his calculated and precise yet emotional performance that perfectly matches the music. Two singers with drastically different approaches to their craft, but when beautifully put together, they created a dynamic that not only didn't clash, but elevated their uniqueness. As for the song itself, Yonezu revealed that when he started writing the lyrics, the first image that popped into his head was Reze's bare feet walking on broken glass, and leaving a blood trail behind. That is such a raw yet elegant way of depicting Reze as a character, as someone who spends her life covering her tracks and comes and goes like the wind, which makes Jane Doe a befitting title. Reze's life is actually like walking on broken glass. She looks powerful and controlled and manipulative throughout her appearance, but in reality, she has lived a life of excruciating pain, and that is the main premise of the song. If you look at the album covers of Iris Out and Jane Doe, which were made by Yonezu himself, together they form a full portrait of Reze. The upper half is a colorful and intriguing look at her from Denti's point of view, while the bottom half is the authentic view of her, a hurting, tragic character treading on broken glass. Every step she takes only inflicts more pain on her, until her ultimate demise. And now let's break down the lyrics. The very first line, "It's as if we were the only two left in this world. I just couldn't resist dreaming for a bit." The lyrics are very straightforward. Denji and Reze, even for a brief moment, were indeed in love, and in a way that neither of them had experienced before. It was the first time anyone had actually cared for Denji romantically, and also the first time Reze had found someone she could actually relate to, due to their tragic pasts. So up until everything went south, it was like they were in their own little world of two. Maybe adding a little clueless shark at the corner. In the first verse, moonlight shining on the tips of our toes, the scent of a bouquet, fingers grazing fingers. Goodbye, time for me to forget everything and disappear. The first three lines are intimate, romantic sensations presented visually, olfactorily, and physically. They recall the pool scene, Denji's flower trick, or the bouquet, and them holding hands in school. These are small gestures of happiness, but suddenly followed by Reze's farewell, both figuratively and literally. In comes the chorus. Walking on broken glass barefoot, drops of blood fall with each pang of pain. Please, trace those red footsteps and find me. This is what the song has been building toward. Reze's actual feeling for Denji, the reason she returned for him, her confession that never reached him, and, in my opinion, the climax of both the song and the movie. I've already talked about what the first two lines symbolize, but Reze's plea for Denji to find her through the red footsteps feels like a dying wish made when she was finally accepting her death at the end of the movie. This is where Yonezu and Denji's perspectives come in. The second verse is quite abstract, so here's how I interpret it. Goldfish released into a rusty pool means Denji was finally in his element, like a fish in water. But what he didn't realize was that the pool was rusted, and the poison would eventually kill him. An apple we hid in the shoebox. The apple could represent the forbidden fruit of Eden, making Denji and Reze Adam and Eve in the world of two. Or it could simply represent youthful love. But either way, it has to be kept in a shoebox. More accurately, the kind of shoebox you see in Japanese high schools. Scars left on their shriveled skin. Even after Denji saw Reze's true nature, he was still stubbornly in love with her, and even wanted to protect her. The lost kid swam like a dog. There's no specification on whether it's lost kids or one lost kid. So, considering that Reze was teaching Denji how to swim, I think the one swimming like a dog would be him. The second verse feels a lot less heavy compared to Reze's part. It perfectly captures the naive perspective of Denji, and gives us a glimpse of the simple, romantic interactions between them in the face of catastrophe. It functions as a conversation between the two main characters, and a reflection of their dynamic. Denji was always the one waiting and looking for Reze, while she always appeared out of nowhere but was secretly watching over him, even till the very end. Let's fill this world with mistakes. Denji and Reze both proposed running away at one point, even if that meant betraying and hurting others. And they both meant it. Stay by my side. Let's go have some fun. Where are you? Denji repeats his question, but this time, Reze is no longer there. Instead, she answers by bringing back the chorus, where her message never reached Denji. Then the song ends with Yonezu and Utada singing the first line together. It's as if we were the only two left in this world. I just couldn't resist dreaming for a bit. The same lyrics, but sang with so much more emotion and desperation. Chainsaw Man Season 1 was decent. I thought the story was interesting and the animation was really good. But that's about it. I probably enjoyed its music more than the show itself. So when the movie was announced, I wasn't really interested initially. But then Yonezu Kenshi returned, alongside the bombshell news of a collaboration with Utada Hikaru, which piqued my interest, but I was still kind of on the fence about watching it in the cinemas, until literally everyone started saying the movie was a masterpiece. Being slightly disappointed by the Demon Slayer movie, which I still overall prefer as a franchise, having followed its anime since 2019, I decided to watch Reze in the cinemas. I went in with tremendously high expectations, and it somehow managed to go above and beyond. A truly amazing film. It's definitely one of the best anime films I've ever seen, and one of the most memorable endings I've ever experienced. That, plus the amazing song I just spent a whole video talking about, is absolute cinema. I'm gonna end by quoting a line by Denji when he went on a movie date with Makima, who I now have extremely mixed feelings about.
あのラスト、絶対死ぬまで忘れないと思います。
This has been Cushion. See you next time.